Ta-da!
That was it.
That was the Feywild transition.
I love it. And welcome back to Ocalian Knights. Thank you guys for tuning in so far. And what we have to show you guys is something very, very cool. We'll take our very first look at Tailspire now. So if we could, zoom into the fire pit where we have several of our adventurers. So we have several of our adventurers hanging out by a fire pit. They are listening to stories being told. You can kind of, by description, see who is there. And we are very, very excited to get in. So, as you guys can see, there is a lady who's kind of corner caddied on the fire pit. She is wearing kind of a robe, like an apron of sorts, and she seems to have a basket of treats that she's been giving out to individuals. And while she's making her way around the fire pit, she takes some of this dust and she pours it into the fire, and she begins to tell her story. You guys have arrived, or some of you have arrived, midway through a story as she begins. And you can see the smoke start to kind of create characters and live in kind of animation, kind of, until she moves on and it wisps away into another image that she describes. Excuse me. Ah, yes, King Siler. He was a great king. He came to us from the Fey world. He was the ruler of the Fey Isles, if I'm not mistaken. And boy, was he an amazing king. I mean, just strong and just all around fair. And he ruled for years and years until his son was born. And she pours a bit of dust onto the fire. Yes, the son. The son was born opposite scale color of the father. And he took this as a sign that it was his time to retire, as this was what the gods have wanted. So he gave his most trusted advisor, a man named Sir Mulick. You see, Sir Mulick was some sort of mercenary, called in only for the worst of the worst. You see, when wars happen in the Fey world, you don't just lose a battle, you lose everything. They believe that a losing side will never accept their fate, so everyone on this side that did not become victorious was obliterated. And they used such magic users as Sir Mulick to have this happen. The king dispatched him several times to take out women and children, schools, palaces. The king knew that he would never be able to return to normal living, so he attached Sir Mulick to his own set of party, to his board, to his round table. And he used Sir Mulick. Anytime he thought he was being too nice, he called him and he had a discussion. Now, Sir Mulick is very persuasive. So the king, wise and knowledgeable, would write down his own thoughts before going into meetings with Sir Mulick, for fear of being controlled. After conversations with Sir Mulick, he would return to those notes, and if their sentiments aligned, then he knew he was on the right path and was making a just decision. If they did not, then he took the words with a grain of salt and moved on with his decision. Now the king, being born righteous and just, never thought that his son would not have the same heart and he put Sir Mulick in charge of raising his son, as he was afraid of his son being too soft and born from the part of him that let people off, as some of his advisors would say, easy. The son's name was Rollick. And Rollick and Sir Mulick became very close. And at the age of 7, they demanded control of the kingdom. And Sir Mulick, knowing that Rollick was not of age, he would be the ultimate ruler. And the king would not stand for this. Although Silor knew that's what the gods wanted, at least in his heart, he said no, and he banished Rollick from the town, from his kingdom. And no one has heard from them since. As the dust inside of the middle, the last bit is poured, as you can see the smoke jumping into the sky, and what seems like hours and hours that have passed before what would normally be the sunrise. It is still the same dark and colorful sky that there was when the night first began. Now, before we go any further, does anyone have any bits around the town that they would like to accomplish? Something that struck their mind that they may have seen, or a bit of conversation?
I feel like Cricket has just been like preparing the structure and everything.
Sure.
Like kind of like sorting everybody, has kind of like set E up with the band and has been like, you know, combined their band and everything, and they're doing the entertainment, and he's just like kind of seeing about the business of his guild as they like kind of like center the structure that everybody's, you know, kind of there to see.
Sure. Describe to us. So there's a section of town kind of dedicated to this statue.
Mm-hmm.
It is where you guys, where this scene is currently taking, the water's edge is just beyond, and there's a little dock that heads to some of the boats.
Mm-hmm.
Further down, I guess heading east from town, you would find another set of docks where a majority of boats have been parked.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is kind of set right before the crest of the jungle or the forest,
Mm-hmm.
and where town begins. And there are streamers and their own bits of torches coloring these different colors, some green, some red, some purple flames. Purple flames. Excellent.
Purple flames.
And we see in the center of this area of light this structure. I'm going to describe the structure to you.
It's pretty much just like a gigantic, well-crafted, like, wooden figure that seems to, like, you kind of see it from whatever angle you're looking at, it seems to be like another humanoid. If you look at it from a certain angle, it looks like a human. If you look at it from another, it looks like an elf. Like, people that can fly look down on it, it looks like a dwarf, and it's just kind of like one big being that somehow seems to represent every one of the creatures that are there.
Love it. Very, very cool. Can you talk to me just a little bit about when something is whittled by you or somebody of the level that you are in whittling? Describe that process to me.
Well, for the people that know about this guild of whittlers and why they're so renowned and why they make the structure every year, it's that they manage to do this without damaging the trees that they bring over from the Feywild. They don't, like, when they whittle them, they actually like shape the wood and mold it so they're not actually damaging the trees. So even when the tree is like removed from the forest in the Feywild, it's not dead. Even when it's like been whittled, it's not dead. It's still a living creature when it's been removed from the area. So it's almost like a bit of the Feywild is present in this area, but they know the longer that it stays away from the Feywild, a little bit of that magic will fade. And even this structure that's here right now is not there as a permanent structure, which everyone understands. Like, you kind of see like the sorcerers gathering below it, a lot of the wizards gathering around it, and they know they're about to put this being into Ocalia and like spread its energy out. So maybe next year almost the gathering will happen again as they kind of, I don't want to say they're going to burn it, but like set it ablaze
in some arcane,
in some
kind
like
of
arcane
energy.
ritual
Sure,
that's almost
sure.
going to happen, and that's what will ensure that the ritual, that this gathering will happen again next year.
Sure, and that's in my mind. That's kind of where the band comes in. Is they're
Mhm.
going to play their music and they're going to emote through their instruments and through their voice,
Mhm.
and kind of twirl this arcane energy that'll blast and
So like the
incinerate
wood that
this.
they bring over in the woods and the whittling that they do, it's the only way they can actually bring a part of the Fae into
Sure.
Ocalia and then kind of spread its energy out
Love
into it.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Anybody else have any bits that they'd love to discuss currently?
Hey, lady. I got some questions about the Mao guy.
Sir Mulick. And
Muley, that
as the words Mulick come out of her mouth, you see Darian. You see, as you're looking up at this massive wooden structure, 3 thunks, thunk, 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 and fiery arrows take hold into the top of the structure. And it begins to become ablaze as everyone looks towards where the shots came from. Directly above, you see a towering figure above these 3 snake creatures, kind of made out of smoke, but also not made out of smoke at the same time. And you see this gentleman start to take form, massive armor, beard, and soulless eyes, looks down at the crowd. I have come, as it was foretold that I would come, and I bring Rollick, and we shall take Ocalia. Not take for 1 day or for 1 year, but take everything. And the fire in the middle of the pit just engulfs. And as the fire drifts away, Sir Mulick is gone. And arrows begin to rain down on the crowd. Sunk, sunk. As you guys see the children and women begin to be struck down and hit the ground. You see the fire blaze around the arcane energy and push the arcane energy down as all of the band stops playing and the people stop singing. You see this entire structure begin to turn to ash and float away. Not in the arcane way you have seen it happen before, but in a much more destructive way. As I would love everyone to roll initiative.
Absolutely.
It's wacky that time, baby.
We're gonna use my initiative.
Sorry about that. That's
Ooh.
16.
I can tell you where. Oh, actually, +1. I'm gonna go first. Then.
Let him go.
All right. In Dungeons and Dragons, whenever you are starting a combat encounter, you will roll something called initiative. That is your D20 roll. So a roll on a 20-sided dice. You'll add your dexterity, and whatever that number is your order in comparison to other people. So the higher you roll here, the better. So we're going to start at the end of the table with Cricket.
That would be 13.
A 13. We're going to go to Darian.
21.
Sorry, E. A 21. Very nice. We are going to go to Erdal.
8.
An 8. So I do Erdraw?
E-draw.
E-draw. Crap, sorry.
Hard's on. You got a bunch of E's over here.
And
And what was your roll?
And
8.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Terrible.
No, dude.
Nothing but consistent.
Cole.
Natural 1.
We're off to a great start here.
Finn Bauer.
that's a 16.
A 16. And Nicholas.
9.
A 9 for Nicholas Oscar.
Oh, no.
9. Okay, bear with me a moment while I get some guys in here.
Bad guys, bad guys, who gets bad guys, bad guys, bad guys. This is the bad guys song. Ooh yeah.
You don't like that. Why you
Okay,
trying to
Google,
sing
play non-copywritten music.
non-copyright music?
That's pretty vague. Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
super
think
big.
that's gonna get you.
Okay, Google. Play combat music, not copywritten.
If she plays something, I'm super.
You got a lot of faith.
Super impressed. Okay.
The action word
There's
in
some rights
in
for
strain because if someone's listening on the TV, you're out.
Got him.
You know, I was watching somebody's podcast. the other
Alexa,
day, and
it's
that's
so
what
sad.
happened.
Alexa, play Despacito.
What's funny is I've looked at the analytics and there's one person who watches on a console.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
That's my
Awesome.
absolute favorite thing.
Okay,
ever.
Google, stop.
Okay.
I don't know what it's playing.
Okay, Google, stop.
As
Stop.
the realization sets in
It's
that
so good.
Sir
Keep
Mulek,
going.
Sir Mulek is now vanished away. We can wait for that to end. Sorry.
I think it's
Hey.
I think that's Darian's phone. What is that?
What? Oh, did someone Google?
No, that's my phone.
I'm
We've come full circle.
Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum-bum.
Google, you can sponsor us at any time.
Oh, I flipping
Sorry, Siri.
Oh my god. Flipping was for Sully's dad.
Hi, Sully's dad.
Dad.
All right, awesome. As the realization sets in that this is a very live, dangerous encounter for a lot of people here in town. You guys have not just encountered fighting men and fighting women, but you have encountered women, children, men, elderly. I mean, every person you can think of interested in an event like this, a global wide kind of phenomenon is here present in this small town of the shores. Not a lot of places to maneuver or hide, but you do know that the only escape from this region outside of climbing the large mountains that surround this area would be to take the rafts back through Silver Springs. As the structure is completely burnt and asunder, we're gonna have 3 more attacks first to see what else they hit. As they aim down, and they see you, and they let off 1 shot. They see you, they let off 1 shot, and they see you, and they let off 1 shot.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Shoulder.
Does a 19 hit you?
Yeah, right into this.
Does a 21 hit you? Does a 15 hit you? All right, so the 15 is going to miss, but these 2 are going to hit. As they are going to let off 6 points of damage as it hits you in the shoulder and catches you in the leg, Cole.
I'm not doing well.
Well, I guess an arrow to the knee is not that bad.
And then we'll zoom a little bit past the fire pit to where Darian is with Cricket by the structure.
So the bad guy's like.
The bad guys are not quite near you, but you see that arrows flew in from town where the smoke was kind of coming from. As you guys definitely noticed this smoke as it was appearing in the sky and forming horses and different people's
She
faces.
There-
For sure,
oh,
but she's a little bit
right,
further
yeah.
away.
But I'm
Is
like,
the,
they're
You are
within,
not in the scene.
they're within earshot of me.
Correct.
Is the portal still open back to the Fae for my people?
At the moment you don't know, but
Okay.
because it's a little ways into the forest. So you'd have to at the moment. Yes, you can see a bright light shining into the sky. It is definitely still open.
Okay.
If I'm not near the fire, how close to the water am I?
You are probably 75 feet from the water. If you went directly straight, you would get to where the rafts are. To the right is the actual wood line, and to the left would be where town is, and this particular area that this is going down in.
Okay. All right.
Super random, but that is super cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's, I don't know why
Yeah,
it's
it's
showing in
super
the
cool.
building. I don't know why.
That's
it's doing
cool.
that.
That's
No,
fine.
it's super
Where's the
cool.
other map? All right. I would.
And you're probably like 30, 40 feet from town to where you would be able to see someone.
So I could see. Can I see the bad guys though?
If you moved into town, you could definitely see the bad guys. If you want to roll a perception check for me, this will not count as an action. This will get you a little bit of what you see.
Okay. Oh, let's see. 16 on the die, and I have to find this again because this new thing.
Oh, you can't look at that.
17.
That's the DM side.
Did you try and sneak?
No, I was trying to see.
What a cheater.
17.
What a
17,
cheater.
excellent.
Throw
You
him on the
notice
fire.
as the fire begins to poke out and you kind of trail that light, and now you see a big kind of face in the sky kind of vanish out, and you see in the very distance these slithery looking heads kind of popping out as they're kind of ducking around. But around your immediate vicinity, you see some of the wizards and sorcerers that were surrounding, kind of helping out with this band. You see them trying their hardest, using every cold spell they could think of, because they know how incredibly important this structure is. And as this structure's top half is beginning to, incinerate now, they are trying to do everything they can to stop that. Around you, you see women and children screaming, and some of them are already heading towards the boats, but others of them are kind of cowering down behind the structure.
Oh my gosh. I'm real sad about that. Okay. Where are my can I see my squirrely friends?
You can't see your squirrel friends.
Oh. Okay.
You know they're in the woods, though. If they wouldn't probably come into town with all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
But they're probably at the edge of the forest. You
Okay.
need an additional roll in that direction if you'd like to find them.
Okay. I would like to. I would like to dash toward the water.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yes.
As
I'd like
full
to-
movement,
yes.
you're now. You get there,
Yeah.
and you can see people like kind of running over each other, trying to get into the rafts. You see a kind of some of the burlier men kind of pushing people aside. You see a little girl actually fall, and she's feet away from you.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna help her.
Yeah, cool. How do you help?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna obviously I have to help her. I'm going to. Is she hurt? Is she hurt?
You can't really see. You just ran there and you see
I
her
just
trip.
ran there and I see her trip and fall. Okay. I'm going. Well, but did one of the big mean guys push her down? Can I use my vicious mockery against them to tell them to stop being mean?
You sure could use that against the one guy who kind of bowled her over a little bit.
I'm gonna use my vicious mockery on that bad guy
Oh, yeah. What do you
and
do?
make him stop being naughty. I'm mad now because you're pushing around little people. Don't push around the little people. They deserve your respect. If you don't act really nice right now, I'm gonna kick you in the neck. Yeah. Yes.
Roll a performance check for me. You're looking for a 14 at least, and this will cool the crowd.
All right. 16 on the dice.
Yeah.
That's a
Plus
dirty
what?
20.
Plus what?
That's a dirty 20.
Ooh, nice. So she's going to use one of the skills that she has on her paper, which is a +4, and add it to the dice roll, which was a 16, giving her an unnatural 20. So very good roll. As you begin to play, the crowd, just almost immediately halts in their step. And as the camera zooms in, you can see a foot just moments before stomping on the little girl. As it freezes, and you see her kind of crawl out, and as everyone's almost frozen in time by your voice, she finds her way through the crowd and onto the raft with her mother. As Zook, kind of time flashes back, and everybody's comes back to, you can see the head of a snake-looking guy, armored, with a hood over, as he snatches his hood off and reveals a bow and aims in your direction. And that'll end your turn. As we will head over to Ben Bauer at the fire pit.
This feels uncomfortably
Or
familiar.
no, I lied. You may not be at the fire pit. You were
I was-
heading towards the bright light. So as you were heading towards the bright light, you heard the band playing, and you see this magnificent structure. And as you are, moments from cresting the wood line, you hear, "Ah! Oh my God!" and you kind of hear the crackling of the wood, and you turn.
Okay, so yikes. So what do I see immediately
Perception.
around me? Is that my action?
It would not be your
Okay. Otherwise, I'm just gonna make it up.
Sure.
And tell you what I see. I'm not gonna use it. Okay. Oh, nat 20.
Unnatural 20 kind of get. Okay, great. So you see kind of chirping and eeing in the woods, like kind of up above in a tree.
Okay.
You see this small family kind of like ushering you. They're foxes, and they're kind of like, get away, look, but as the danger happens, sook, sook. And you turn around and you see maybe 30 feet in front of you, you see this structure beginning to catch on fire. And you see people around huddled. Moments after being huddled, you hear, get to the boats. And you see some of them start to get up and run. You see the red hair kind of trail around and then begin to sing towards the crowd. And you kind of gather all of this in.
Mm-hmm.
Deep into the town, probably 60 feet from where you are. You can see a large cloud in the sky kind of burst. And then behind it, just the vague heads of these torch-lit snake creatures, kind of looking down menacingly at what you would assume is a crowd of people.
Okay. So, are any of the crowds around me yet?
None of them are around you. You are the only person near the wood line.
Okay. And then the squirrels said to go that way.
They look like they're trying to get you to come in their direction.
I'll go with the squirrels.
Hells yeah.
I'll go with the okay, trust them.
As one of them, as you kind of peer around and they're maybe huddled behind the tree that they're at, one of them kind of droops down by your leg and begins looking up at you. Do you speak? Can you speak with animals?
No, I can't.
You cannot. Okay, great. And
Actually, I picked up squirrel as my third language.
nice. That's very smart.
Do they speak celestial
Very,
or
very
dwarfish?
smart. They do not. And you see a bright, just away from the squirrels themselves, you see a bright light, kind of fluctuating. And you notice as the fire burns more, the becomes less, and now is more solid than it was before. Where it was kind of shimmering before. As the fire burns, it becomes less shimmering and more concrete in a doorway, opposed to kind of an ethereal kind of portal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. The squirrels are kind of skittering around your leg, but they're without being able to communicate to them. This may be a difficult task. What would you like to do to the squirrels, with the squirrels, at the squirrels?
I guess with all the danger and everybody saying run to the docks, and all these squirrels now that are being friendly to me and the hustle and bustle, I think I'm gonna try and scoop up as many of them as I can
Cool.
and run for the docks.
Hell yeah!
Just like, okay.
I hope you do it with your wings, just cupping them.
Hell yeah. Roll a... No, don't roll anything. This can happen.
This happens.
And they're kind of clamoring you, and you can see one of them kind of pulling at your leg in the direction of the boats. So that kind of reaffirms your thought process. As you begin heading in that direction, at a full blast, you would get to maybe 10 feet away from you. And this kind of scene happening of her halting the crowd. And you see the head of this kind of snake creature arrive as he pulls a bow out.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I saw that she saved the little girl and everything.
Suppose, yeah.
I'm gonna shoot
You're
that guy.
natural 20? Sure.
I'm gonna shoot that guy.
Hells yeah. Go ahead and roll an attack for me.
Okay. That is a 16 to hit.
Oh yeah, super hits. Roll some damage.
Okay. And I'm going to. I haven't used the crossbow yet. I don't have to do any range yet. Let's do. Oh, 10. 10 damage.
What can I do about that? Oh, shoot. Gotcha. Sorry.
I'm gonna do 10 damage.
10 points of damage. Oh, I freaking love it. Great.
As I'm like bustling squirrels onto my shoulder, I'm just like, hold on one second.
Excellent. With what are you shooting with? A bow? You got
My
a bow and arrow?
crossball.
Crossbow. Perfect.
Squirrel out of your quiver.
Yeah, I'm just like, no, stand up one second. Can I get behind you?
As you turn around, you have another bolt ready.
Oh, yeah, the squirrel.
The squirrel prepares squirrel.
Yeah.
I love it.
She gets multi-attack because the squirrel's just like.
And
They're just loaded. It's automatic now.
and that will
Sitting on
comprise
the
your
Yeah.
turn.
Fully automatic.
It's
I
fully
mean, Ben, that will comprise your turn, Ben. As we'll zoom over to Cricket.
Cricket
Yes, Cricket Whittler.
You better be
is
at that fire pit.
standing, seeing, like, I figure he's like motioning his people into the portal.
Sure.
And he sees right on the other side of the portal is Guildmaster, like doing everything he
Sure.
can to hold hold the curtain that was there out.
I love it.
And Cricket's like the last person, and he's like trying to hold it up, but he
Now-
looks over.
Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get everybody through. They're
Not
kind
everybody
of
scattered, but they're kind of scattered.
The people, so the people that you know from your town now,
Mhm.
you could have set up some parameters and rules of, hey guys, got to be with your buddy, can't be 10 feet
Buddy
away
system.
from me. You could have set something like this
Yeah.
up, but and I believe the world of the shores, they're all scattered.
So
man.
they're all kind
out-
of like scattered.
Correct, throughout. So you would need to make some sort of announcement or rally call, and then begin to move your troop through the portals.
So I will say,
And you're probably around 60 feet away from where the statue, the structure is,
Mhm.
and the portal is in through the woods.
so
Just-
I am like making like a druid craft.
Ooh, cool.
Like kind of like how I've been doing like the explosions and everything the entire time.
Sure.
And like projecting like a gigantic arrow for like all of my people,
I
pointing to the
love
portal.
it.
and like and I'm just like trying to get all of my people through, knowing if they get stuck there, that then they're crossers at that point. So I'm doing everything that I can to like get everybody through.
How high in the sky is that? Is that symbol?
It can go up to 30 feet.
Fantastic. As you get the arrow into the sky,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of dissipates
Mm-hmm.
as you see the arcane magic of dispel
Kind
of flutter it away. And the kind of sparkles back down to the ground. Now it was up for a moment,
Okay.
and some people could have seen it, but in your immediate front is this burning structure, some of the band that was around, and screaming women and children and elderly and men and fighting age and not fighting age.
Cricket understands the importance of like the tree burning down.
Sure.
And how and what it means and everything. So he's kind of in a state of a panic, looking at it, looking at the portal as it's like starting to collapse. And then he just saw what E did over here too.
Sure.
So he's like
So
trying
torn.
to get his people
So
through,
torn.
like looking back and forth, like trying to decide. what's
In the
going
moment, roll me a perception check. I want to see if you saw what I was trying to see. Have you see earlier?
Ooh,
Big numbers.
23.
Ooh.
Yeah.
numbers.
I don't know if you are if you tend to drop instruments or not, E. And I'm guessing you don't. But if you'll give me some liberty here, the lute that you were playing for this particular ceremony, you drop as you head in the direction of the people to go and save them. As you're kind of looking there and turning back to look at the break in the sky, you look back at the instrument that he was playing, and on the back of her lute you see the sign of 60.
I look back at the guildmaster as he's holding the portal open. And I just nod at him, and I feel like he nods at me. And I go towards E.
And you see him immediately let go of this structure and begin to head in. His wings get nice and large, and he kind of heads into the area. We'll get to him in a moment. So as you head towards E, you see this fallen angel kind of running with some fox. You see her pull out a crossbow and release a bolt in the direction You see something kind of with a large cloth on.
Mhm.
The cloth comes off, and you see a half-armored snake person with a bow and arrow, kind of now taking that hit and readjusting his arrow now at Bin.
Do I still have an action?
You
I. So where is he in relation to like the falling structure?
do. So he is like 60 feet away from the falling structure.
Okay.
He's actually perched up on a rock. Or do we have that on the map? Arrow guy perched up on the rock next to boats.
Do you mean this guy way over here? You know, it would help if you looked at the map.
But you're controlling. I don't know where you are with the map, man.
Almost like if you moved with your program.
It's new. I'm sorry. Okay.
It is a
Can you
trial.
see on my side or no?
No, but
Okay,
look over here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm pointing you in such a great direction.
Yeah, I'm gonna make somebody super large.
Yeah.
Can you find him on the map? Give him a torch.
You talking about this guy over here?
He's super large. I just made him super large.
Super large?
Yep, like I made him gigantic.
Where
up
are
towards the
you?
boats, up towards the front boats near the original set of boats.
This is a learning experience.
Yeah.
What is your definition of super large?
That looks like the dude on the
I
rock.
literally
That's
made him
him, right?
gigantic.
That's him.
Go
Go
back
back.
a little bit. Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
He real big.
That's him.
He real big.
Is that your big?
I mean, compared to the other
Pick
people, he's
him
pretty
up and
big.
drop him.
Look at him. He's snaky and he's big.
He's taller than the. He's
No.
taller.
He's the sword guy. The only sword
Is
guy you
that a
put by
normal
himself.
size?
That guy?
Yeah,
Way over here?
yeah.
I like
Because that's
We're
where the
at a
structure
different
is.
dock.
You know what I mean?
this one over here.
Yeah.
Where it's dark.
Yeah.
I see nothing.
By the dock. By
How
the,
far up on
See,
the...
it's so big that you're actually clipped into him.
see your screen.
So you're just like in his calf right now.
I do not see that on my screen.
Okay, it's not my fault then. Not my fault. See, not my fault. I shouldn't have been using this in the first place. Okay, either way, guys, it's not important.
Yeah.
There's a kind of offset rock. So there are two separate docks. There are two separate docks here in town. One of them is for larger boats that kind of goes in
Yeah.
and then around. And one of them is right at the edge of the water where pretty much the forest begins. That is the one that this three have found themselves. Directly on top of a rock that's almost adjacent to the boat itself is was a cloaked snake creature. His cloak is now off, readjusting arrow.
down around him.
Yep.
Entangling vines rise up and grasp him.
Cool.
As Cricket begins to like head towards E and grab the loot. But like these vines like almost like from the earth itself come out and entangle him. He must make a DC 13 strength saving.
Oh my god, we're
Can
so
they
far
turn his
apart.
bow?
14 on the die. Let me make sure they don't have a negative strength. They have a 1 negative strength, so he's a 13. Meets it, beats it. So
Okay.
sorry.
He is still in difficult terrain.
Perfect. Understood. That will end your turn.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And I'll say with movement, you're maybe 30 feet away from even E.
Okay.
As you took some time to grab up the thing and make some decisions. Great. Which brings us to Nicholas Oscar as we now head back to the fire pit. The smoke kind of junting up into the air kind of dissipates, and you see arrows almost immediately come through the smoke and attack something right next to you and send it to the ground.
Fun fact, I can't see anything unless there's a player token over there.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
I have a brief question.
Yes.
I got shot at the beginning, but I wasn't in the square with the fire.
This is very true. I would love to transfer that shot over to you, unless you're like, nah, it didn't hit me, then it will go on to you.
I can take both.
Perfect. You just take one. He took one. You took one. Yeah, makes sense. I thought you were there, but then I remembered that you were
Not trying
there.
to like screw it. I'm
No,
just
you're
trying to figure
absolutely
out.
How much damage?
I got 6 from it.
It was 6 points of damage?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And you know where we are now? We're at the campfire.
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
I'm just setting up the other thing because
And all
Cool.
is
Hey.
well and good.
We'll be there for a couple minutes if you want to go back to the
campfire. Yeah, here
Cool.
we go.
But it is a very cool program, guys. We're still learning it. I hope you guys are enjoying the scenery and actually getting to see a physical map and a location to where our heroes are located.
The
As we
fire
say,
is so cool.
My pain
Ah.
is immeasurable.
Yeah, absolutely. As you guys look up and you see these snake creatures, two of them with bow and arrows, and one of them kind of directing them and shooting out some magical arrows of sorts.
Okay.
And he's in the center. What would you like to do?
Okay, so I want to draw my greatsword, and I want to. Can I do like a bonus action? Women and children, get out of here! Kind of yell.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
wanna-
give that as a free.
Yeah,
Sure.
I want to just like draw a sword, be like, everyone, get the hell out of here! Women and children first, get out of here, men. If you can fight, let's fight.
Sure. So you see below where the snake creatures are standing is a small doorway. That doorway is locked. It's open.
Good
What's
question.
the map say? Okay, it's open. Perfect. It is absolutely open. I think in the map it's closed, but it's open. An open doorway. Behind you looks like some very difficult terrain. You're not really sure where it leads, but it's not in
I'm
any
not going
direction
anywhere.
that. No, I'm sure, but for them, as for where you're ushering them, because as of right now, the only viable entrance is the one that's directly below the archers.
Oh, I got
So,
you.
like, it just
Quick question.
you would notice that as somebody. Yes.
Are there people on either side of him, or was he by himself? Because the entangle's a 20-foot square.
He is only him, and he is by himself, and it pretty much the rock he's standing on is 20 feet. So
Okay.
all around him, these vines are crawling up
Got
and entangling him into the ground, or attempting to, as he kind of breaks them away with his tail, kind of wiggling around, and then resets to go attack. Nicholas, Oscar, you yell out to the crowd, "Get the fuck out of here!" And where do you point them? Which direction do you point them? Behind you, towards the rough terrain, in a direction you don't know, or through the tunnel below them?
Would I know the fastest way to the docks from where I'm at?
Below them, to the right, and you would know as you just recently come through this.
Yeah, I'm gonna send them through there because I'm gonna use a command duel on the leader guy if he is within range.
He is, I believe, within range.
You're moving towards him?
Nah, he can come to me.
Oh, okay.
He
Nah.
has to come to me.
Nah.
All right, so can we see Nico on the map here?
Oh yeah.
I would love to be able to get a perfect.
So he's
Oh.
10 tiles away.
So he's a little more than 30 feet.
Okay,
Is
so-
your 30 feet your limit? For that
Yeah,
spell?
range is 30 feet, so I'll go the
Great.
extra, what is it, 4 tiles? So move 20 feet just so he's in range of me.
Sure.
And just kind of want to like be like, you, me, we're fighting right now, wacky that.
I like this guy.
I'm here to do the wax, baby.
Emote.
I was supposed to have a nice time. You ruined it. Time to die.
Let me look up.
Very nice.
Here we go.
Where's he? Which one's he?
So he's going to make a wisdom saving
Oh,
throw.
over the
Correct.
shoulder shot. Over here. Oh,
DC of
spin
14.
That is a 9 on the die, and I do not think they are very smart.
Perfect.
And he has used his reaction
Oh,
this
to his fresh.
round.
Oh!
Oh,
Oh my
that
gosh!
was pretty cool.
Wisdom is a +3, 9, 10, 11, 12.
14 is the DC.
14, he absolutely fails.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
He jumped
And
down,
this
scaly
makes
bastard.
him one creature you can see within range must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is drawn to you, compelled by your divine demand for the duration. And it lasts 1 minute.
Mhm.
And it gets a saving throw.
Each time it attempts to move to a space that is more than 30 feet away from me, if it succeeds, the spell doesn't restrict the target's movement for that turn.
Beautiful.
And the spell ends when I attack any other creature. If I cast a spell that targets a hostile creature other than this target, and if
Fantastic.
a creature friendly to you damages a target or casts a harmful spell on it, or if you end your turn more than 30 feet away from it.
Awesome. The snake is going to kind of parkour over that edge
Parkour.
and land kind of on these boxes. Can you see that?
Yes.
Perfect.
Ah.
Wonderful. It's going to drop down right in front of these gates and look in your direction as
Oh,
if
he's so
a
tall.
magical sword starts to appear in his hand. And he is now ready for combat. And that is a bonus action. What is your action?
Hit him with the dark side.
Yeah, I mean, can I get close enough to smack him if he's moving towards me?
You have moved. Yeah, without a doubt. That is about as much as he's able to move. He's doing kind of a jump over the edge,
Right.
slithering over forward
Fighting some
towards you.
weeds.
And that is your character in front. You are you are a hit away, and you've moved only 5 tiles, so you can definitely get within range to attack.
All right, so yeah, I want to smack him
Yeah.
with,
Bopper?
with big sword.
Get him.
Roll an attack roll, sir.
All right, don't fail me, shitty dice. 16 plus numbers.
Oh, that hits. Roll some damage for me.
I like the d6s, so I got a bunch of them. I don't need a bunch of them.
We're all
But you have to
very
just
low
in
level.
case.
They're cool. I like the clackies, man.
So good.
8 plus. Stand by.
Take your turn.
Is there a pop-up for you?
Not that I see.
Weird, I don't know how this works.
8 plus 3, 11.
8 plus 3, 11 points of damage. Fantastic. As your great sword cleaves into his body, leaving a significant amount of damage as it rears back and gets ready to attack you. But before he does, we will go to E-Draw.
So, quick question
Yeah.
on the. So, is it pretty much like this courtyard? Is
It
this,
is just like this courtyard.
So, if I see correctly, it looks like right behind me. Was there a door on this? Is this a house right behind me that I'm standing in, like the staircase or something? Of?
Kind of.
Is that a door right there?
That is not
No.
a door. It's like a ledge.
It's a-
So that's, if you were to go around, there would be an entrance to a home that kind of goes upstairs. And then as you turn around, you get into another doorway. This is like a little ledge that kind of looks out into the courtyard.
Okay. Is there a door across the courtyard anywhere? Like
Is
that?
there a door across the
Does it
courtyard?
look like there's any sort of door that presumably they have the only entrance to this courtyard blocked off?
Yeah, smack him.
With
I don't
snake
know why it's
creature.
got that
No,
big
so
look.
there's a hallway. I don't know
That's
if you
not
can.
cool.
Can you show the hallway next to? Yep, that hallway. There's that hallway there,
Oh.
That
which
hallway.
leads to a doorway which goes up to that entranceway you were talking about.
Okay.
There's the gated entrance behind this snake creature.
Oh, wow.
Bro.
And then behind you guys is a kind of rough terrain, super dark cemetery thing.
Spoopy.
And that's kind of all the entrances and exits from this particular area outside of parkour.
Okay.
Save for
Parkour. So, how many non-combatants are in this?
Pretty much as you look around, you see just the individuals that are in front. You have Nicholas, you have Cole, you have yourself. Those seem to be the only fighting men of still of their wits.
There's about a dozen non-combatants in here.
Correct.
So, I'm gonna try.
And can I lay people down? Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Ryan?
you gotta hit knockdown on.
Ooh.
Where is the knockdown?
Right
feature?
click.
Yep.
Radio. There's like conditions. There's conditions.
Stats.
Stats. Or my bad. Yeah, stats. Then knockdown. I don't know why this one is just you're trying to attack. I don't know what's going on with that.
Status, knockdown. Status and stats are different, dog.
Yes. It's not a perfect program.
You're right. It is a perfect
Oh,
game.
one went down.
Oh no!
They dropped it like flies.
Is it a kid?
No, it's a no.
These were
Is
the
it
Oh,
a
there goes another.
These were the
It's a
three
gnome
that had been
child.
hit early.
Not the gnome child.
That one was right behind
That's my
Nicholas.
brother.
These two were right in
Children.
the front, and then you
That's
guys each took a shot. So that's kind of what you see currently.
Okay. First, I'd run over to that alley. That little alley there,
Sure.
And then I would want to look to
15, 20, 25.
see how close is that door. Is that door right there into this?
It is about another 5 feet in, and it goes into the building.
I would try to open up the door.
Sure.
Is it open?
It is open.
Okay, sweet. So then I'd stand right here, kind of like sheltering the alleyway, and then I'd like to use one of my racial features.
Can you give me control of him, Ryan?
Who?
His character?
You have control.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
There he goes. He hopped away.
No, he hops.
So kind of like the goal is to block right there's like a half wall, right kind of close to where that snake man hopped down at.
Sure.
Yeah,
This
I
one
want to
here?
stand there, and I want to use Daunting Roar, which is a racial feature.
Ooh.
Did I get you right? If you look at the map here.
Yeah. So the goal is I'm going to try to scare the crap out of everyone in this courtyard to try to run through this door
Oh,
into
dope.
the building,
Cool.
and then try to block arrows and try to be a meat shield.
Sure. Totally.
So Daunting Roar says creatures of your choice within 10 feet. But or within 10 feet that can hear you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, DC 13, or become frightened of you until the end of your turn. So I'm going to do it to all the non-combatants
Sure.
and the enemies.
Sure. From the
Um,
direction that you're in.
Yeah, so 1 to try to scare the enemies, 2 to try to scare the non-combatants into that house.
Perfect.
Is the goal.
If you could give me a count, Ryan, on how many he touches,
He is now within 10 feet of him.
and only touching the baddies,
Only the baddies.
and Nicholas as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I won't target Nicholas.
I don't think so. I don't know if you have the choice. All
It does say
the creatures
creatures
you
you
choose.
Yeah, creatures of your choice.
Okay. Give me a direction of the sound. As in my mind, are you a magic user by nature?
No, this is
You're
strictly just for
roaring.
being a line
Awesome.
guy.
So in my mind,
Nobody.
you like there's an eyesight that
Yeah.
happens from your Leoniness. Like you're like,
yeah.
in my mind.
Mhm.
So you're gonna need to like pinpoint where that sound is going. And since you only get 10 feet, the individuals touching your 10 feet are Nicholas, the snake that Nicholas is fighting, maybe the guy directly above you.
Mhm.
And I'm again like in my mind that other guy is just outside as he's angled up and
Yeah,
off in a
off
corner.
to the way.
Correct. And you could redirect away from that corner and direct that energy towards the crowd, but you wouldn't be able to get the enemy in this as well. Is that fair? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fair. I was kind of stretching anyways. It's
I understand. It's a
courtyard's
really cool
obviously
feature.
bigger than
Sure.
12 feet. Yeah, I'd probably try it at the snake guys. Actually,
Cool.
try to fear them, but then maybe like be like shooing them into the
Sure.
into the
That's
thing.
definitely possible.
So that's
I'm going to give a collective disadvantage roll for the crowd to notice you,
Okay.
as there's a lot
Good.
happening. And on the highest or on the lowest dice, we have a 13. You're a big ass. They see you. He's like 7 foot tall. They see you.
A little
I
hard to
get it.
miss,
Okay. As you're ushering them in, you kind of wait for that eye contact, and you snarl and let out this roar.
yeah.
And what are they making?
A wisdom saving throw, DC 13.
Awesome. And we're calling it on all 3 of the bad guys since you're specializing in that particular area. I think that's fair.
That's pretty fair.
Cool. I have 2 passes and 1 failure.
Mm.
And I would love to say the failure is either the guy, and it could be your choice, the guy that Nico's fighting, or the one above with the arrow.
If it's my choice, I'd be the one that would probably have the best shot at the civilians, which is the guy on the top right.
Perfect.
From how we're looking at it.
Absolutely. I would love. Ryan, can you see the one I'm jumping?
Yeah.
I would love for it to be that one. Can you put a condition? Oh, I can. Status. No, not that.
Yeah, knock him over.
It's so cool, guys. Status.
Terrified of the roar, just falls prone.
You can do it, believe me.
Me too.
And then, so that was a bonus action. Movement. How much have I moved?
You have moved 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You're 30 feet of movement. Maybe not.
20.
20 feet of movement.
So I have 35 feet of movement per turn. Can I get up on top of that wall?
You'd be at half movement now, so you would not be able to get up. You have 5 feet of movement left if you're
15.
climbing.
He's 15.
You have 35 feet
Yeah.
total? Oh, hell yeah. You get up right up to the top.
I get right up to the top.
Yep. Crest it over.
I will use my action to basically sprint.
And that thing is a
finish.
bonus action? Your roar?
Yes.
Dope. Very cool.
Oh,
Nice.
that thing got even more awesome real
Yeah.
quick.
I like
Most
it.
most racial bonuses are a action.
Yeah, that's a really good.
Very
really good bonus action.
If we all make our characters best friends,
I don't
then,
I love
then
Yeah.
Okay, so movement and you're gonna double move
Yeah,
to get
and
up all the way up to
anyone
the top.
Isn't afraid. I'm gonna face towards the guy that's not. afraid.
Hells yeah!
And
So
kind
you
of be
get
ready
yep,
and
you
posted
get up.
with a
I'll love to
big
take
old
control here.
I don't know about the lion dudes, but I know the other cat people have like
Climb
bonus
speed.
to climb speed.
Yeah, they just have
Oh.
a
His big ass
I
Leona
don't.
does that.
Yeah,
a
okay.
little bit bigger.
I'm not super agile.
I got you.
And this
I
is
got
where
you.
you get. If we can see on the
He's
screen
sensitive
now,
about it.
Yeah.
we have the Leonin or the snake guy behind you is the one who's currently afraid, and we'll get to what that looks like on his action.
Yeah.
And then the one across from you is the one that you are now aiming at.
Sweet.
Hells yeah, great turn. Anything else?
No, that's
action, bonus,
all.
action, movement. Great. Cold. There's slits. They're looking at them. If you get in front of it,
Don't they see with their noses, like their tongues?
for sure. But if these guys see with their eyes, good call.
Just looking in the air, trying to aim.
Come on, get in front
Yeah,
of it.
I'm gonna adjust it for the people to get through
You
the.
goaded him into a one-on-one, and then should talk to him.
That is.
Oh,